Good morning, Metro Nui! Welcome back to another episode of the Barraki Talk Show. We're your hosts, the Mielik brothers,
Jacob, Samuel,
Thomas, and we're glad you're joining us today as we talk our way through the weird and wondrous world of BioNICLE. We interrupt your regularly scheduled Barraki Talk Show to bring you Art of the Week, where our talented in-house artists, Jared, Arthur, and Samuel, bring BioNICLE to life in their own unique ways. If you want to obtain these wonderful pieces of art permanently and in high quality, simply go to the Ko-fi link in the description of this episode, where you can download this week's art and all past weeks for free. But if you like this art and you want to see more, consider supporting the Barraki Talk Show. We greatly appreciate it because this channel is only made possible thanks to viewers like you. Thank you. But now, let's continue with your regularly scheduled Barraki Talk Show. It's often said that everyone has a price. For the Dark Hunters, this goes from a mere statement of fact to a binding philosophy. And in this episode, we will see just how much this organization is truly worth. And for this episode, we have a very special guest star. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Matt from RVFX. Happy to be here.
And if you guys remember back to Are You Smarter Than a Biotuber, he was on it.
and he did well.
Did I do well? It didn't feel like I did very well.
You did better than the average person, I think.
No. No. But we love you anyway. So, the Dark Hunters are pretty much the simplest faction in the Matoran universe, but they have a lot of specificity. And so most of the lore is grounded in specific characters, rather than like how the Order of Madanui is like shrouded in secrecy, or like how the Brotherhood of Makuta has like different hierarchies and whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll go through the organization and it should be pretty quick, and then we'll get into the specific people and rank how many Visorak battle rams we'd be willing to pay for their services on a job.
So I have a question. In the intro, when you said, we'll see how much this organization is truly worth, does that mean you're going to sum up how much we would pay for each individual?
Yeah, if we wanted to
Dark
bulk
Hunter?
buy the Dark Hunters as an organization, like the Order of Madanui is like, should we buy it? Do they have public stocks available? Like, can we do a hostile takeover?
Just Mark Cuban Shark Tank the Dark Hunters.
Yeah, exactly.
The shadowed one coming up is like, hello, sharks.
I'm trying to think of a smaller...
He goes up to Pride X species, he's like, hello, sharks.
Yeah. What's a smaller organization in the BioNICLE universe than the Dark Hunters? Like, what? Because
Nothing. There's only like 3 organizations.
That's what I was wondering. I was just thinking about it because I was thinking about how GameStop tried to buy out eBay just recently. I'm like, I feel like that's how someone would be in the Matoran universe. They'd like go up to the shadowed one, like an individual person, and be like, I'll buy out the Dark Hunters. And he's like, who do you even think you are?
Yeah. And Hand of Artaka, that was smaller than the Dark Hunters.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Although I think they were probably more powerful.
I was gonna say, yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so speaking of the Dark Hunters, shall we get into their organization?
Sure.
Yep. So they're actually a very old organization. They were founded near the universe's beginning by Ancient and the Shadowed One, after Ancient had created the concept of mercenaries by becoming the world's first mercenary. Dude was so greedy, he's like, yeah, I'll invent, fighting for money. And somehow no one had thought of that before.
Well, he is ancient, so presumably he was definitely around at the beginning when no one may have done it before.
He was just sitting with Tren Krom brainstorming. He's like, what could I do for money? Tren Krom's like, kill people? He's like, you may be onto something there, Trenny boy. Lord Cromwell.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway. So the Shadowed One and Ancient went into business together, and they laid some ground rules. So these are the base rules and principles of the organization. They will take on any job, provided the price is right. Now, they don't guarantee success because they have kind of a pretty high failure rate, but still, kind of funny. Like, Makuta could have been like, yeah, kill the Great Spirit. 10 billion Visorak battle rams. But what's even crazier is that the payment can take any form, right? So it's not just like widgets or tangible goods. They can also trade in like information and political positions.
Interesting.
Which I'm like, oh, just like real life. And even crazier, sometimes they don't even demand down payment. Like, they get paid after the job is done. So I'm like, you could just have them do something and be like, I'm not going to pay you. And then if you're more powerful than the Dark Hunter's like, yeah, what are you going to do? Kill me? Like, that's just what Makuta did, essentially. He's like, you're going to fight the Brotherhood? Worked out pretty well for Makuta in the end, actually, so no consequences there.
I mean, I feel like this is a time when the Dark Hunters could definitely learn a lesson, you know, and just not do that again.
Yeah.
It's like, just don't take a job from someone who's more powerful than
exactly.
you. Problem solved.
Yeah, because you can't punish them.
Or just improve the pay structure, you know, get half
Yeah,
of
there
the
you go.
Oh, yeah. Make them, like, make payments, so, like, every month the job is going, they have to deliver, like, 1/10 of the sum, or whatever, and make sure to just, like, wait it out, and then do it on the 10th.
Yeah, is Venmo a
feel
thing
like
in
that's
Bionicle?
Huh?
Is Venmo a thing in Bionicle?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So is Polymarket.
Betting on the next Metro Nui election, all on Turaga
Yeah.
Duma.
I'm just imagining they're watching like an Akalini tournament. They're like, 200 on Hafu, 500 on Hafu. I'm some Zean merchant betting it all and be like, they lose it. They're like, I have no Vizorak battle rams left. I'm destitute.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, however, this founding principle is a lie because the Shadowed One actually has greater ambitions, and we will see this as we go on. Okay, so keep that in mind. We come now to number 2, which is to become a Dark Hunter, you must pass a test. Once passed, you are in the Dark Hunters for life. If you try to leave, they'll kill you. So it's like, yowza.
Wait, so really quickly, I want to go back to what you said about the Shadowed One has greater ambitions.
Mm-hmm.
So, meaning he doesn't strictly follow this first part of the philosophy.
Yes. If he wants to, he will overrule it.
But in that case, the price just wouldn't be right.
Mm.
So does he really override it?
Ancient for him, the price is always right? But like, as we'll see, the Brotherhood of Makuta was the biggest contractor for the Dark Hunters.
Uh-huh.
And when Pterodax killed the Dark Hunters, it should have just been a hit on Pterodax. The Shadowed One declared war against the entire Brotherhood. So obviously, money is not his main concern.
I guess that's
It's
true.
his ego that was hurt. And he was also thrown into Voprak, which was kind of physical damage as well. Anyway, so number 3, all Dark Hunters must bring any treasure scavenged on a mission to the Shadowed One. So you can only, if you're a Dark Hunter, you are only paid what you do in your contract for the mission. You cannot like just, you know, pick up a widget on the ground and take it home with you because the Shadowed One will like beat the brakes off you.
So how does the Shadowed One know taking stuff? Like,
so if you don't get the right quota of things, he'll be like, obviously you're hiding money. This is why he also sends loyal agents with people who he's not as trustful of, like Kreka and Nadiki, because Kreka keeps Nadiki honest, and so he makes them turn in the loot they find. And sometimes, like, presumably people do get away with it, but he has a lot of ways to gather information, because that's like the Dark Hunter's forte.
I like
Right.
the idea that he sends Kreka with Nadiki to keep Nadiki honest, but Kreka is fooled like multiple times in the movie,
Yeah.
right? So it's
Yeah.
like Kreka, I feel like Nadiki, who's sly and cunning, could probably figure out ways to outsmart Kreka.
I mean, Nadiki's not sly and cunning. He hasn't done one sly or cunning
well,
thing.
okay,
in the
he
entire
thinks he's
series.
sly and cunning,
Exactly.
and I think that alone is probably enough to get past Kreka.
Yeah. I guess it wasn't though, because they tried on
I mean,
one mission.
not that we know of.
Yeah. Well, because he tried on one
Oh,
mission to
that's
take
true.
the
I remember. now.
the blasters, and then Krek is like, no, get Nadiki. So number 3, all Dark Hunt. Oh yeah, they must bring any treasures, and kind of another thing, they can't leave Odina, the Dark Hunter Island, without the Shadowed One's permission. So being a Dark Hunter sounds more like being a slave, but where you get paid occasionally. I don't know. Maybe it's like super indentured servitude.
Yeah,
perhaps?
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. However, no one likes these rules. They're like, I want to go places. I want to take money from me. Like, what is going on here? Especially because a lot of Dark Hunters don't even have a choice of joining the organization. So it's like, dang, you're up a creek without a paddle. It's kind of a bummer, actually. And if you try to leave or betray the organization, you will die. The Shadowed One will kill you. Actually, if you try to just leave, he'll kill you. If you try to betray, he'll do something worse to you. We actually do see in Prydax's army in the flashback that his army had some ex-Dark Hunters in it. So obviously this rule depends on the Shadowed One getting his hands on you rather than having like some special.
Prydax's army...
In League of Six Kingdoms original.
So, but that doesn't really...
I know.
That's like way early in the timeline.
It's super. That's why I said this must be an ancient organization because like that's really early. And Greg even said, like we see in Destiny War, Kalma comments, he's like, we've heard about your organization since we got out of the pit. But it's like, what are you talking about, Greg? And then people asked him about it, and Greg said, whatever I write in the books takes precedence. So I'm like, that's a very honest answer. Number 5, if anyone kills a Dark Hunter, they will be also killed. So this is the rule that started the Dark Hunter Brotherhood of Makuta war, because obviously Nadiki and Kreka were killed by Makuta, and the Shadowed One's like, hey, you're making me look like a punk. So those are the 5 rules of the Dark Hunters. They're not the official rules. This is just the best way I could categorize it. What do you guys think of these rules?
Kind of sounds like a raw deal, to be honest.
Yeah. I remember going through it. I'm like, why would you ever join the Dark Hunters?
Well, like you said, it's in most cases not willingly.
I said in some cases. In most cases, it actually is willingly.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know how many of these rules he tells you up front, though. Because once you're in, he's like, you can't do anything about it or I'll kill you. And you're like, yeah, I guess that's kind of true. See, you just got to be the guy assigned to assassinate other people. So that way you can leave and do whatever and be like, hey, he can't catch me. Who's going to kill me?
Rule number 1 is basically like you can see all the other rules once you join.
On to recruitment. So they recruit people because many join for the freedom to kill, steal, and destroy and get paid for it. Because most killers, stealers, and destroyers just do it for the love of the game. But now they can get paid and be part of the game. Genius.
Oh,
so this is
all
like...
right, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I mean, you know, that actually starts sounding a lot more appealing when you put it that way.
Yeah, like, if you're an evil person, I can see joining the Dark Hunters. Because, like, if you're just a normal evil person, joining the Brotherhood has way more restrictions and a higher chance of getting randomly murked or mutated.
That's a good point.
So I'm like, for evil people, probably the way to go. Some are outcasts with nowhere to go. They're just shunned from Matoran society. They're like, I guess I'll be evil. Sure, why not? And this is a surprisingly large bracket of the population. And some are just dumb as rocks and easily persuaded. So once again, Kreka. Because like, yeah, this actually happens for a lot too. We'll see all these categories as we go through the specific hunters. And then some are tricked or blackmailed into joining. These are the saddest ones, but they make for some really interesting Dark Hunters.
Which is Nadiki one of them?
Yes, Nadiki. There's a guy named Phantom that we'll get to. And then the last category, some want to overthrow the Shadowed One. They're like, I'll join, and then I'll become the new leader. They don't last super long, generally. Because no one's overthrown the Shadowed One yet. Anyway, so overall, the promise of a free life where you are accepted is a lie in the Dark Hunters. Because not everyone is equal either, as we'll get to a bit later. And as we see in Legacy of Evil, like the Dark Hunters often talk of rebelling, right? Because the Proc are like, yeah, we have people who are helping us overthrow the Shadowed One, right?
It is interesting because it creates a structure very similar to the Brotherhood where you basically are stuck, and so your only options are to die or to try to overthrow the current leadership and maybe die trying.
Well, the Brotherhood has more avenues for like actual institutional advancement, right? Because they have like legitimate lieutenants, they have lower ranking people, they have people who can be charged of specific armies or like places. Whereas in the Dark Hunter, it's literally, and we'll get to that part now, it's the Shadowed One at the top, and then everyone else's hierarchy is based on how much he likes you at the time. Like, that's it. There's no, like, official lieutenants as far as I can tell. It's just like, I think you're pretty cool. You're in charge now. Or you're in charge of this mission. That's it. Like, straight up.
That's interesting.
Yeah. What are you going to say, Matt?
No, I'm just listening. I'm following along.
So when are the Dark Hunters going to show up in your story?
In my thing, oh boy, not for a minute, right? I mean, we're not even at the Toamata yet, dude.
It's take a little while.
You telling me we're not gonna get the Shadowed One before the Toamata? What sort of messed up thing is this?
It's almost like I'm telling the Bionicle story out of order, which I know is a revolutionary.
Okay, so, well, if it starts with the narration of Madanui and Makuta, that's pretty much like having Kreka in it because he's like, more powerful than Madanui. Genius. Anyway.
Brilliant.
Kreka upscale. So, if the Shadowed One doesn't like you, he'll just keep you on Odina permanently, or he'll send you on missions where he thinks you'll die. He's like, yeah, either just stay here and don't touch anything, or yeah, go jump in that black hole. I think, yeah, people hired us to do this for sure. Wink, wink. And as we talked about before, when he sends people on missions, he usually sends out in pairs or like trios to keep people more honest. But if you're a very loyal agent, he can send you out by yourself. So there is some reason to be loyal. It's just not that much. However, going back to the Shadowed One kind of being the top guy, his ego seems to be the deciding factor on what rules or principles he overrides, right? So like when Kreka and Nadiki die, he declares war on the Brotherhood rather than just Pterodax, which is obviously a terrible financial move and completely driven by ego. Because he's fighting a war, and wars are not profitable. Also see this when he goes to war against Metronui, in which he accomplishes nothing and gets banned from Metronui permanently and has a sour relationship with like everyone there, right? Obviously not a money-driven move. That was pure ego because he hated Duma because Duma was actually being completely based and Chad pilled during his interactions. He's like, this Taraga's mogging me? Nah. Anyway.
Wait, I have a question.
Okay.
So why, if Ancient and the Shadowed One built the organization like in conjunction with each other, why does the Shadowed One have like the top spot? Why does Ancient not have a say in how the organization is run?
It's because the Shadowed One, he's like the CEO, the head. He's like, he came up with the idea of the organization, and he brought in Ancient as his most trusted guy, and Ancient is fine being in that position because he gets paid more. Where if he was part of if he was like ruling the organization, he would have to put money into it or something.
So it's like basically they're co-owners, but one of them became the CEO and the other one actually wanted to do like labor but get paid for it. So
kind of like that, yeah.
I just slammed every CEO out there.
Yeah. Dang. And Ancient kind of stands outside the hierarchy of who the Shadowed One likes because it's like he's just the most trusted. It's not a contest, right? Everyone else is fighting for second place, which is kind of cool. Until, of course, he just kills him. We got to that in Destiny War, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like, I didn't know if we were spoilers here.
No, we were talking because we talked about how stupid it was. It's like Ancient just dies.
Yep.
It seems kind of goofy, but whatever.
But then the Shadowed One, he can also declare what test a Dark Hunter takes to enter the organization. So obviously he can make a test so hard, someone can't pass it if he doesn't like them. We see this when Sidorak wants to join. He's like, okay, fight Gladiator, this like 20-foot tall guy from Stelt who's physically superior to you in every way and tactically superior. It's like, I wonder if Sidorak's gonna win. He didn't. So obviously, whether you get in, you have to ingratiate yourself a little first. And as we see in Destiny War, this is going back to his ego over profit, he wants to be the most powerful organization because when he finds the Makuta viruses, Ancient's like, we should sell them. But the Shadowed One's like, no, I'm going to use them and take over the universe or become the premier faction in the universe. Whereas if they're all about money, that would not be the case, right?
Yeah.
So I think it makes for kind of a dual tug on the soul of the organization, but the Shadowed One is much more impactful than Ancient and the founding principles. However, since he is so much more powerful, it's just kind of like less interesting, I guess, because like it does what
it's not an actual power struggle in any way.
Yeah.
It's basically like, the Shadowed One's gonna win. Like his will is going to dominate. So it's just kind of like, there are these underlying principles, but it really boils down to whatever the Shadowed One feels like that day.
Yeah, pretty much. So that is the base organization of the Dark Hunters. Any thoughts on that before we move on to what their base is?
It sounds like the rules are basically whatever the Shadowed One wants at the time.
Yeah.
Which, probably isn't the best organizational structure, but since we've already admitted all the Dark Hunters are basically just indentured servants, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And because he is powerful enough to keep any Dark Hunter in line, it's like there's no recourse, essentially, right? So your best bet is to just be like, I'll go on missions and get paid. Why not?
But it's, when you think about it, it raises so many problems, which is like, okay, great, you make money, but you're not allowed to leave the island without the Shadowed One say so. You're not allowed to go on like any mission that you want. It's basically like locking yourself into an ecosystem where you can only buy these certain things, and it's like
you got the company's script.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And it's like it just sounds so stupid because it's like no matter what you do, you're basically cooked, right? Like if you try to leave, you die. If you try to overthrow him, you're probably gonna die. And then if you just work for him, then you live a miserable, despicable, disgusting life where you get money but can only spend it on so much because because
what are you gonna do with it? Right?
Do with it? Yeah, you're not even free to leave the island at any point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just sounds worse the further we got into it. I'm like, man, this would be horrible.
Yeah. Which is why I feel especially bad for the people who get like blackmailed or tricked into it, because it's like this is like the worst existence, especially if you have morals.
Well, and I was gonna say it's funny because during Legacy of Evil, it's kind of framed like the Barraki are just doing it to get power, because they're just, this is the Barraki, that's what they do. But then when you learn all this, you're like, yeah, that's actually probably the most reasonable course of action, is like try to overthrow the Shadowed One. That's just what you have to do.
Their action may have actually been moral.
Yeah, it's like
accidentally.
That's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
But the other thing I was going to say is it's sad that there's not more contention in the power structure, because it would be way more engaging if the Shadowed One feels like he could actually be beaten. It just doesn't feel like that's even a remote possibility, even though technically it is. And I think that's a missed opportunity to make the Dark Hunters a much more interesting faction.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now onto their base. They are based out of the island of Odina, but they are not based in general. Odina is a barren, cliff-based island far from trade routes. So it's like tons of cliffs. That's like its main feature. It's like rocky shorelines and cliffs. It's a terrible place to live.
The whole thing is just the cliffs of insanity.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, and it's not near any trade routes, so people don't accidentally stumble onto it. Although it's not like hidden like how Daxia or Destral or Artaka is. You can actually find Odina if you're looking. However, it's only...
Why would you be looking, though? That's the real question.
Well, if you want to hire the Dark Hunters. You just roll up to the Shadowed One himself, be like, hey, I got a crisp $20 bill. A crisp Vizirac battle ram.
Right off the presses.
And its only notable Rahi is the Cliff Screecher because of all the cliffs. However, the Cliff Screecher is actually kind of cool because it's said to house its soul somewhere other than its body, making it essentially immortal, and it can fly. And what it does with this flight is it will hunt prey, it'll grab them, it'll bring them to the top of a cliff, and then like kind of roll them down the cliff until it dies of fear or shock. So it's not like dropping you off the cliff to where you splat. It's kind of just dropping to where you do like the Princess Bride roll all the way down until you die.
Until you die.
I'm like, that's crazy.
That's way worse than just dropping you to kill you.
Yeah.
Wait, so I have a quick question. What is the purpose of housing its soul somewhere other than its body?
So if its body dies, it's still alive.
But can it re-inhabit?
I don't know.
Can it find a different body? I feel like this goes back to how we were talking about the Abmatoran and the Borok. Like, if
Where
their
does the
soul
soul
is
go?
still attached to the Borok shell, then it's like, isn't that a fate worse than death? Like, you're not conscious. You have no way of expressing your mind. You're just this nebulous soul mind somewhere attached to this shell until it gets destroyed, presumably. It's like, wouldn't that be worse?
Cartesian
Wouldn't you rather
duelist.
just die when you became a Borok shell?
Yeah, given that you don't have like a brain though, would you even be able to think about it?
I don't know.
Because can a disconnected mind think? I don't want to get into this. Maybe.
It
This
sounds
is very
pretty miserable,
philosophical.
Yeah.
But that's probably why they spend their time rolling people down hills for a living.
Yeah, that's true. But like it eases the pain. Instead of like smoking a cigarette, they just roll someone down a hill. It's like I gotta take the edge off.
But you know, on the other side of this, for the Dark Hunters, it keeps looking worse for them, right? You're basically a servant. You're living on this awful cliff island where you get paid, but you can't spend money on, I guess, anything except, that the Shadow One branded shops where it just all funnels back to him in a pyramid scheme. And now you've got these birds that are just going to pick you up and roll you down the hill.
I know. I'm like, why would you want to live here? But there are some perks, because in the Dark Hunter Fortress itself, it's a massive complex. It literally takes up like half the island. Like, it's huge. And it has training rooms, it has armories, and it has everything needed to live. So presumably it has like food and whatever. Each Dark Hunter actually has their own specific room, which I'm like, that seems weirdly cozy. And like, they don't share a barracks or anything. Like, they all have their own rooms. And there's actually a Dark Hunter who's so stealthy, they don't know what room he lives in.
That's actually crazy.
I'm like, this could be a setup for like some sort of wacky sitcom. It was just, I'm like, this feels weirdly wholesome. I don't know why. And the walls of the fortress can be telepathically rearranged by the Shadowed One to become any new orientation. So they could play indoor sports if they wanted to.
I do want to know how this works, because we never see the Shadowed One use any sort of telepathy outside of that, right?
The walls are just connected to his mind.
That's what I'm saying,
Like,
though.
he doesn't
It's
have
like-
telepathy. Like, the walls have telepathy to his brain.
How does that work, though?
I don't know. Maybe it's living stone, like we've seen before, and maybe it's telepathic living stone. There we go. Simple
But
as
why
that.
does it specifically obey the Shadowed One? What does
Why do all the Dark
Shadowed
Hunters
One...
obey the Shadowed One? Maybe the walls are a Dark Hunter named Wallman.
Wallman.
Wallman. Genius. And it gets paid in Wall Vizrak battle ram. Anyway.
What?
No, he threatens to destroy the wall if it doesn't
With
do it with
Vizrak.
Vizrak battle rams. That's why he gets paid in them. It's genius. It's all coming together. Greg,
That's
you've done
so
it again.
Stupid.
But that is pretty much the entire organization. So that's everything about them. They're pretty simple, but I did think they were kind of reminiscent of the Order of Madanui in generally how they're structured. Like, they have an island base that has everything you could want. On and out of the way island with crazy like animals. And they have someone who's clearly at the top and more
And
loosely
then it's
defined
nebulous
stuff
after that. Yeah.
exactly. Although the Order of Madanui is a way better deal. Kill you for random stuff.
True.
And you could get paid, presumably. Like, they don't take your money. They're not communists.
They'd probably kill you if you knew where Artaka was and then you left the order.
Well, they'd kill you if you knew who Artaka was and was in the order.
I guess that's a good point.
Man, imagine they're like, Artaka knows where Artaka is. We got to take him out. Anyway.
Artaka knows where he is because Artaka knows where he isn't. I'm going to try to find that meme when I edit this.
The missile knows where it is at all times. It knows this because it knows where it isn't.
Yeah. But now we move on to the Dark Hunter events. So these will be pretty quick because most of what they do we see in story, right? So after their founding, the Dark Hunters did business as usual for a long time, with their most common clientele being the Brotherhood of Makuta. And this working relationship became so close, the Brotherhood was often the one who mutated Dark Hunters to gain their additional powers when they joined. Which I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Because you see a lot of entries where it's like, I mutated this guy. And it's like, where are you getting these like scientists or whatever? And it's like, oh, it's from the Brotherhood, which makes a lot of sense. And the Brotherhood would also create Rahi for them, presumably as payment, and they would loan them weapons. And this close relationship we see in the Birth of the Rahaga comic, when the Dark Hunters are part of the army that the Brotherhood is amassing. I'm like, oh yeah, they were really close business partners. Which makes it even funnier that just like on a dime, the Shadowed One's like, you disrespect me, death, destruction.
I feel like, yeah, of all people, he should have known what the Brotherhood was capable of.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think he did. I think he has an ego. He's like, yeah, I would still win, even though he lost to Pterodax. So it's like, why do you think your organization would beat the Brotherhood anyway?
it's a really good point.
I think maybe he's a little prideful, but don't quote me on it.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So, after the business as usual, he would seek to establish a base on Metronui. Duma refused, and the Shadowed One went heckin' nuts. He released the Kanohi Dragon to try and destroy Metronui. He tried to kidnap Duma. He tried to kill Duma. Then he's like, fine, full-scale invasion. Gets beat pretty badly and is like, grr, I'll get you. Actually, he doesn't even like vow a whole lot of revenge. He's just like, yeah, whatever.
So how exactly did they lose the full-scale invasion? Like, what was
that?
The
Was the
main...
Lee Khan storyline with Nadiki.
Oh, yeah.
They have Nadiki become the traitor.
That's right. And
Yeah.
then all the...
Yeah, then they ambush the Dark Hunter ambush.
My bad. I forgot about that.
I was going to say, how'd you forget
The 300 Toa.
Yeah, exactly. And all the Dark Hunters are banished from Metronui forever, but he does get Nadiki after that. So, there's a little silver lining in everything. But then, in a cruel twist of fate, Makuta would impersonate Duma and would hire Dark Hunters onto Metronui. So the Shadowed One's just like, oh yeah, we got those suckers. Or did he think it was Duma the whole time? And he's like, wow, man, Duma had a crazy change of heart.
It's a really good question.
Do you think
Was he really was he stupid or was he really stupid is the question.
Yeah. Do you think the Shadowed One was like, Duma's requesting our aid? And he was moved by such an act of forgiveness and compassion. He's like, maybe I was too harsh on Duma.
Or maybe they just paid him the right price.
Yeah. Ancient saw the money. He's like, we're going. I don't care what's happening. Anyway, so he sent 3 Dark Hunters to go on this mission. Nadiki, Kreka, and of course, which I also like sending Nadiki back as well. And then Eliminator. And Eliminator was the most effective, and he took out all of the Toa Man guys, save for Toa Lee Khan. But then, of course, the events of Metronui happen, and Makuta kills Kreka, Nadiki, Shadowed One finds out. War begins. So 1,000 years of war happen while all the Madanui stuff is taking place. But it's not so much a war as the Brotherhood being like, oh yeah, I guess these ants are trying to attack us. Whoa. Like, because whenever the Brotherhood does try to do a counteroffensive, it just works, like straight up. Like, they just obliterate the Dark Hunters. Like we see in
like,
Legacy.
I was going to say when they attacked the stronghold
in Legacy of Evil.
Like, it's not even a contest.
It's a complete slaughter when they pay attention to it. So many hunters die, and the Brotherhood of Makuta is obviously no longer a client, and I would assume Ancient is very mad. He's like, grr, no money for me, grr. Ancient's a funny guy. I like Ancient. But then the Order of Madanui comes on the scene, and they loosely ally with them. Partially for money, partially because they hate the Brotherhood, and partially because Helrix is like, I'm going to kill you if you don't.
It's probably mostly that one, let's be honest.
So that's pretty funny. And then they take control of Zia, and actually, move all of their operations over there from Odina. Probably because their entire fortress was destroyed by Pohatu.
Who, me?
The humble administrator of Zia. I have that quote in here. Yeah. So then those are all the events catching up to the serials.
It's weird that there are so few Dark Hunter events, it feels like, for how critical it seems that they are in the general lore.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they don't have like as individuals there's a lot of stuff that they do, but as a whole organization they don't really matter too much.
Yeah.
Like they don't
tell the Shattered one that you wouldn't like it.
They don't really do any like grand schemes that pay off.
No.
So it's just kind of sad. Again, I feel like we've said this so many times, but so much of BioNicle is just missed opportunity. It's like you had such a good idea, and not that they wrecked the idea.
Yeah.
It was just not expounded upon in a way that felt completely satisfying.
Because like when the Shadowed One and the Dark Hunters are introduced, it feels like, whoa, there's this huge malevolent organization, right? But it's kind of overshadowed by the Brotherhood of Makuta, who's a larger, more malevolent organization.
Yeah.
And then the Order of Madanui comes along, you're like, oh, an equally sized, works on a similar structure, but way more impactful, benevolent organization.
Yeah.
So I think the Dark Hunters just get lost in the shuffle a little bit.
It's sad.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Rewrite it.
Yeah.
Bionicle revise.
Anyway, so are we ready to discuss the members themselves and see how much we'd be willing to pay for them?
Yes.
I'm ready.
As an abbreviation for Vizirac Battle Rams, we'll be doing VBRs.
VRs.
Verbers.
Berbers.
3 Verbers for this guy. We'll do it auction style where it's like 1/2 Verber.
Wait, are you voting to, like, are you paying for them too, or is it just Matt and I?
We'll get to it. Whatever feels right in the moment, you know?
Yeah, do we have a fixed number of Verbers, or can we throw just infinite money at these people?
I think the idea is not necessarily to get them on your side. Like, so you're not paying whatever you want. It's just you're paying what you think they're worth.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha.
So it's
Gotcha.
like...
Values determined by supply and demand.
Yeah.
We're trying to find where they intersect.
So
On some
what
of
is-
these, it will be difficult.
Yeah, what is the conversion rate to USD with these?
That's what I was about to ask. I'm like, we need to set a standard here so
Yeah,
we know.
Vizirac Battle Rams.
No. But some understandable standard,
How much
Thomas.
USD would you pay for a Vizirac Battle Ram? They're about the size of a house and like 4 stories tall.
Nah. Okay, let's see. I think reasonably $800,000.
$800,000. Okay.
Should we
For
just
like
say
a
a
mini
million?
skyscraper?
Because I'm thinking of like the giant tractors, you know, like a giant tractor goes from anywhere like $500,000 to $3 million, I think. So, but I feel like a Vizirac Battle Ram's not quite.
Yeah, 'cause you have to have Vizirac
powerful,
to pull
you
it
know.
as
Yeah,
well.
that's what I'm saying.
So
Yeah.
the labor costs are gonna be insane.
Let's just say $1 million even.
Okay,
Let's
I mean,
make it
I
$1
think
million
too-
bucks.
Yeah, just for a practicality standpoint, because if we do that, we're gonna have a lot of I'm paying him 0.25, you know, half of one, because I'm not paying Kreka $1 million.
That's a good point. Okay, so let's lower that. Let's make it how about we just say it's $100,000 for a VBR?
Why don't we say it's 500 widgets?
Thomas, you're useless.
So $100,000 for a VBR.
$100,000. All right.
You can still break it up into like or fractions if you really want. If you're like, no, Kreka's still only worth like $10 to me, then by all means.
So we'll start off with the members that we've already discussed. We'll go over very briefly and then say how much we'd be willing to pay for them. So, Ancient. So he's the co-founder, obviously, and his powers are that he's strong, he's almost impervious to physical attacks, he has mental shielding, which is a major bonus if you're trying to do secrecy-oriented or attacks against telepaths. He has a rapid-fire spinner that makes the target lose all coordination, and he has levitation boots. How much would we pay for Ancient?
I feel like I'd pay a solid 50 VBR.
50 VBR?
Yeah.
50.
What
Okay, so
the
5 mil.
heck?
I
Yep.
mean, he's pretty OP. Yeah.
pretty OP, but I don't know. I don't even know if he's better than like 3 Toa.
Well,
I'm not paying 50 VBR for like 3 Toa.
So what are you? Okay, so to measure the like worth of a Visorak battle ram, are we saying that it's like?
Didn't we say 100,000 USD?
Yeah, but so that's worth monetarily. But what about worth? Like, if you're saying, okay, what specifically would make Ancient worth this many battle rams? Like, would I trade this many battle rams for Ancient? Is it because Ancient can do more damage in a fight than 50 Visorak battle rams? Or is it just the pure monetary value of this is how much it costs to make Visorak battle rams, and this is how much I would pay for Ancient, but I already spent all that money on Visorak battle rams, so I'll just trade you.
Okay, well, we'll say that you're some random corporate head on Zia, and you have to hire a Dark Hunter to do whatever scheme you would want carried out. What scheme would you choose Ancient for? How much would you pay for that scheme? Right. Because obviously he's a powerful combatant and intelligent. I don't know if I'd want him on like an assassination.
Well, yeah.
Right.
That's why I think he is worth a lot. Like, I still would maybe lower it a little bit, but I think he's probably worth like, let's say 30 Visorak battle rams.
Per mission?
We're saying like
per mission. You're hiring for a mission.
Okay.
How much are you paying?
That makes more sense.
Yeah. Because for me, I think I would do like 4 Visorak battle rams and have him just like wreck an opponent's warehouse or something. Because I wouldn't want him for like a stealth mission in particular. I wouldn't want him to gather intel. I'd want him to go in, obliterate a small target, and get out.
Exactly.
See, if it's a stealth mission and our conversion rate is like 100k USD, I'd say like 5 to 10, depending on what the mission is, right? I could see you like, dropping $1 million to get somebody really good to do, just some good demolition.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
I guess I'm a bit more frugal than you guys.
I was gonna say let's say $1 million. I think Ancient is worth $1 million.
10 VBRs.
Like, because for what you're what you were saying, what you would use him for, where his strengths lie, I feel like it's going to be worth it to get specifically, right? Because he's going to be able to do basically whatever you need him to do in that specific purpose, right? So like
he's got like an 8 in every
to
stat.
Demolish something, right? It's like, this is the guy. Just do it and he'll get the job done. So let's say, we'll say 10
VBR.
10 VBR per mission.
Okay. So now we have...
Do you want me to write these down so we remember as we go?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we have Voporak, whose abilities are that he can sense shifts in time, he can generate a time force field, he can age things with a touch, and he has a Rotuga spinner that knocks targets' perception a few seconds back in time.
Yeah, so this guy's highly specialized.
Yeah, he's highly specialized, and he's not super intelligent or chatty, but he is very dedicated and very effective.
Yeah, so
I don't know
think
what I would
this
honestly...
is a guy. This is a guy that would operate really well on a team, right? Because he's someone who he's so specialized with like time-based attacks that I feel like you'd want him there to utilize that stuff, and then have somebody else in the party that can maybe do some of the more kinetic parts of the mission, right? So that I think affects the price, because that now I'm thinking, okay, I might want another person there with him. So let's drop this guy down, 2, maybe 3.
2, maybe 3. I was thinking 5, because if you do put him on a mission, it's really hard to take him down. Like, he's not going to lose any sort of mission, right?
So something that I have a slightly different take on this than you guys. Like, if you were to pick Voporak, like you said, Matt, he's very specialized, right? Like, and usually specialists are going to cost more because they're very, very good at what they do, but you don't always use them, right? And so Voporak, to me, in most cases, you would not want to call upon Voporak, because the times we see him in action, like in Time Trap, he's very slow. He's very, he'll stay on task, but like if that task takes him 100 years to do, he's gonna carry it out, and he's not gonna get distracted along the way, which could be a serious disadvantage to a mission if you're not careful about what you point him at, right? And so it's like, you're not always going to want to have Voparak on a mission because he won't always be suited for it, though he would be probably very good at the ones you put him on. It's like you're gonna have to be careful about that.
So are we thinking Voparak would be a guy that, like, you have a bundle of Dark Hunters and you put him in as like the bundle bonus, right? So now you're like, oh man, that's some great bargain value, right? When you normally wouldn't buy Voparak, he's the one that pushes you over the edge to buy the bundle. That's how I imagine it.
Yeah.
I'm also putting him at five VBRs.
You know what? I think I'm up in mine to 4.
I think I'll say 5.
Okay. So now we move on to Sentrak, and his powers are Illusion, Darkness Sphere, Molecular Transmutation, however the more dense the material, the slower it is, and it has to completely take effect, or if he stops touching it, it will go back to its normal state. He also has the ability to mind wipe people, his Rotuka can dematerialize people, and he is undead, so he has to be like obliterated like a zombie to be fully put down. This guy's kind of nuts. Like, there's so many ways you could use him, but I think I'd probably use him for like a stealth mission to like infiltrate and either take out a high value target or to take out a high value piece of technology, since he can just turn the technology into like dust or like, I don't know, candy floss or something. That'd be kind of funny. You could troll so many of your opponents with this, right? Like, you have someone on another board of executives that you really don't like, so you just have like Voparak turn him into jelly. Like, that'd be kind of, or Sentrak turn him into jelly. I think that'd be kind of funny. I would say 8 VBRs.
Interesting. Yeah, you know, I think that this is like what you're saying. He's really, really good at stealth stuff, right? Because not only do you have the mind wipe, you have the illusion, but he's also undead, which means that you're not going to be able to pick up any vitals from him if you're using, you know, like let's say infrared, just to bring that into the mix. So I think this dude be very, very good at that. Very good at like corporate sabotage, right? So yeah. I'm gonna go 7.
7. You're just lowballing me every single time.
I'm just going one lower. Well, because I'm waiting to ratchet it up. Because there's a few here that I'm gonna have to ratchet it up for.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, I feel like Sentrak would make a good assassin, or like you said, corporate espionage or sabotage, really. I think his molecular transmutation is one of his most effective powers, and in conjunction with the Darkness Sphere, like, we see these used together in the story, and it is crazy. Like, he would have killed Vakama if Vakama had been not good at math.
Yeah.
Like, it's really what it comes down to.
Math saves lives,
and he would have killed him in literally seconds. Like, it wouldn't have been a contest. So I feel like that speaks to how strong he would be. So I'm
but
gonna
how much
say,
are you gonna pay
I'm
for
gonna
that
pay
string?
7.
7?
As
Okay.
well, yeah.
So now we come to the members not discussed in depth. So this is all fresh, brand new, hot off the presses of 2006 lore. Okay. Or maybe, I think it was 2005. I don't remember. 2005 or 6, whenever the Dark Hunter book came out. And we're starting off with Airwatcher. And I love this guy because he is the dumbest person in Bionicle. I'm not even joking. Direct quote by the Shadowed One. Simply put, Airwatcher makes Kreka look like a genius of the highest level. That's crazy.
Oh dear.
He is so stupid, he will attack people, trees, and inanimate objects because he can't tell the difference sometimes.
That's crazy.
Like, the Shadowed One won't send him out on missions because he doesn't trust him to do that. He uses him as a guard on Odina to guard like specific storehouses because the only 2 people he recognizes are the Shadowed One and Sentrak, and he won't attack them on sight. That's that's how stupid he is. I don't even know how he convinced him to like be part of the Dark Hunters. I'm like, how do you even communicate with this guy?
What is this guy's story? Like, how did he get here? What challenge did he pass?
Well, it actually happened. 2 Dark Hunters went to his home island, and he attacked them, and he killed 1 Dark Hunter. And so the other one was like, hey, that's pretty impressive. So the Shadowed One's like, you're in, buddy. And I imagine Airwatcher's like, huh? What? It's like doing a low intelligence Fallout run.
Just instant regret.
Yeah.
Literally. So I don't even know how he managed to kill a Dark Hunter, because here is his powers. He has wings that let him fly for a limited amount of time, so I imagine like a chicken. He has a staff that shoots acid, and he can shoot energy webs. And I'm like, that's pretty good, but with 0 intelligence, that doesn't seem like a very good kit to have, right?
True.
So I was just like, you do you, bro. How many Vizirac battle rams would you pay for this guy? I'm thinking
question about the rules.
0.5.
1/10?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, real quick rule question here. Can we pay him to not be on the mission?
Yeah. Oh,
The
that's
Shadowed
a good
one's like,
question.
200 more bucks or I'm throwing Airwatcher on the team.
We're gonna
So
put
we're
him in the
thinking-
bundle.
Yeah, negative
VBR.
Yeah, -1 VBR. Like pay $100,000 to ensure you don't get this guy. I think I'd do -0.5 VBR. I don't know if I'd pay 100,000 because if he's on a mission, like I don't know if he'd mess it up unless it's a stealth mission. But he might just randomly attack. Like,
Yeah, I think
the other team.
0.5 is reasonable because
I was saying
it's-
-0.5.
I know, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Negative. I'm sorry. I was just
Yeah, he was using absolute values over here.
Yes, exactly. I think -0.5 makes sense because it's like 0 is a deterrent already for the Dark Hunters, but like paying them not to take someone on a mission is like a guaranteed they'll take
That's
that.
genius, actually.
So I think that's good.
You good with that, Matt?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would think. Yeah.
Okay. So now we move on to Amphibax. So he is a former member of Alex's army, actually. He's recruited into the Dark Hunters after the League fell. So what we know he does in the story is he was the one actually sent to watch the Paraka on Voyanui when they were doing their shenanigans. However, he never went to the pit because that wasn't his job. And he's not even immune to pit mutagens. So I'm like, he dodged a bullet there. If he'd swum like 2 feet deeper, it's like, he's out of here. But I'm also imagining, did he swim up the waterfall to get to Voyanui? How did he get there?
That's my question with a lot of things on Voyanui. It's
Yeah.
like, how did you get
Well,
here?
we know like the Toa
Well, the
canisters
Toa,
can
yeah.
get there, right? So like, did the Shadowed one just have a Toa canister laying around? He's like, yeah, go Amphibax, wah, and throws him like a Pokeball or what? Like,
I mean, I guess it's not the most
he is said to be an
unreasonable
incredibly strong swimmer and the
thing.
top
His name
pick.
is Amphibax.
Yeah, and he's the top pick for aquatic missions for the Shadowed one. So,
So
I don't
he-
think it's impossible.
he
He could have
could have
swum up
actually
the
just-
waterfall, swam up the waterfall, which is nuts, but like not impossible with super strength, right?
Yeah,
So
that's funny.
crazy. Anyway, and that's not a code name because all the other Dark Hunters, those are code names. Amphibax is his real given name, apparently. He doesn't have a secret identity, which I'm like, what a weird thing to add that doesn't affect anything, but just kind of funny. Like his parents named him Amphibax. And his powers are enhanced hearing and sight. He's also, of course, amphibious, so he can breathe water or air. And he's a super strong swimmer, sprinter, and climber. So he was made for triathlons. And one of his arms is instead replaced with like a giant tailed whip, which is pretty cool.
So if my goal is to win a gold medal in the Olympics, I want to hire Amphibax.
Exactly. When you go on like your corporate retreats, you hire Amphibax to like make sure everyone's in shape, you know, so they can play volleyball. Now I'm imagining like a Top Gun volleyball scene, but
With
it's
the Dark Hunters?
no, with the Zeans.
Okay.
Anyway, how much would we pay for Amphibax? I'm thinking 1.5 VBR. Because like he
Wow.
seems good, but like he doesn't have
Yeah.
any powers that would let him take out like a Toa or something. He's pretty smart, presumably though. So
Yeah, I feel like he's one of the weaker of the ones we've seen just in raw power and strength. Not
but
strictly.
versatility is
Yeah, I was
nuts.
going to say it's not that he would be necessarily less effective. I feel like he would just be harder to find specific things to use him on. So in that line of reasoning, he would cost less.
I'd probably use him to like track stuff or like hunt someone in like a jungle. Like if a Matoran is on the loose, I'd be like, yeah, go get him, Amphibax. Or of course, if you're doing any sort of aquatic mission, he would actually be useful because there's almost no aquatic characters, right?
I feel like
You could hire him for like a
1.5
guard on a ship. That would actually be kind of cool.
That would be cool. I feel like 1.5 is a little too low. Like I would do 2.
2?
Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
Yeah, 2 sounds good.
2? Okay, I'm good with 2. So now we come on to Charger, who was originally a Kane Ra Bull.
Thomas, trigger everybody.
Wait, Matt, how do you pronounce that beast?
I've heard a couple of different pronunciations. I've heard Kane Ra. I'm personally partial to Kane Ra. I think that sounds fun.
Okay.
So that's the way that I say it, even though I'll be honest, with a lot of these words, I tend to pronounce them a different way every time I say them.
Yeah. We are very familiar with that.
I was doing the Kane Ra because I used to call him that, but I was informed that it was like Kane Ra or Kane Ra.
Yep.
So, but it doesn't look like it's spelled that way. It's Kane, all one word. But I digress. However, Charger was he was transformed somehow to be sapient and capable of speech. So imagine you're just like a dumb, mindless Rahi, then you're like, I think I'd go for a spot of tea, shan't I? However, he still hates all Rahi, and especially Muwaka, who in the sets are made to fight each other, which I thought was a funny thing.
Yeah.
But I like to imagine the hatred isn't like a primal instinct. It's more like, I can't believe I used to be one of you. You uncivilized freaks. Be gone from me. He's British, I'm imagining.
I've noticed.
However, he's not very intelligent. He may be sophisticated, but he's not intelligent. Okay. And he's also really strong. Strong enough that he destroyed an entire fortress. I'm like, oh, that is really strong. However, that's his only innate power. His only other power is he has an axe that he stole from a Toa that absorbs elemental energy. And that's really useful. I'm like, okay, that bumps him up probably 1.5 VBRs in my opinion. Because
I feel like he would be I don't know what you would classify in like an FPS, but this would be essentially like your shield guy, right?
Your
like,
tank.
Yeah, your
bruiser.
tank, essentially. Your Reinhardt who can throw up a shield, you know? Like, that's effectively who he'd be, because you would want him there to be able to absorb any sort of elemental energy coming towards your team.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be useful against like Toa and Skakti, because like the two main elemental users. Like you just absorb it all and then kaboom, like blow it the heck up. So I think I'd probably put him at 4. I don't know, if I'm using him in all-out warfare, I could go as high as like 6 VBRs, but I think 4 VBRs is what I would generally use him for. What do you guys think?
I think I'd probably put him lower for general use, but I agree with you on if it was like if you were marching into a full-scale battle, yeah, you would probably want to pay him a lot more.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could see his general use being...
Well, like if you wanted to clear out an island for like a construction project that has a bunch of Rahi on it, send in Charger.
That's true.
Because he hates them all, and he would probably destroy them.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah.
I think 5 sounds about right. I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like brute force, the guy's probably about as good as you can get, right? So like you're saying, if you have something where you need to clear out a space, especially if there's some Rahi there, yeah, throw him at it.
That's true.
I feel like evil corporations would get some use out of him. So now we move on to Conjurer. He's one of my favorite guys. He is part of the Shadowed Ones species, and he became the God King of an island by using advanced tech to appear magical, even though magic isn't really a concept in BioNicle.
It is now.
Yeah.
He invented it.
Yeah. And funny thing, he keeps this act up at all times. So some Dark Hunters don't actually know what his powers are. Like, can he actually use magic, or is it just tech? Right? And he also has a staff that presumably is what channels his powers, but he's like, no, I just have the staff for fun. You know, these powers are actually
everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Gandalf, you know? It's like, you wouldn't part an old man from his walking stick.
Yeah.
And it's like, but really?
Yeah. Funny thing, he couldn't conquer anything else because the island he ruled had a bunch of weak, presumably Matoran on it, and he's like, bro, I'm getting mollywopped every time I try to take over something else. So he joined the Dark Hunters instead. However, he lost his tail as punishment for one act of insubordination. And he also doesn't like water, which I thought was a little fun fact in there. You know, don't pair him up with Amphibax. It's because he knows Amphibax is in the water that he's like, I'm not touching it. You know?
Is there a depiction of Conjurer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, his powers are he has powerful telekinesis, he has a disintegration staff, and he has a Rotuga that temporarily steals powers. However, current timeline, or not current timeline, but when the book was written, he was in a coma after trying to siphon the Makuta of Stelt's powers. So obviously there's a limit on how much he can hold. So I think he actually has a unique and kind of cool power set. I don't know what mission I would use him for. I'd probably use him for like an infiltration mission where he would like siphon the powers of like guards and then go and like try and take out some sort of leader. But that seems like a pretty specific mission type.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's a good, he would be good for infiltration, like into a fortress, let's say.
Yeah.
Because both the telekinesis and the disintegration staff, I feel like would be good ways to breach walls. And then, like you said, having the power stealing Rotuka would be good to basically defeat the guards, right? Anybody who's going to be in the proximity of the walls.
The other way I could see him being used is to depose a Turaga. Like you send him in to kind of win the political capital with Matoran and then have them kind of follow him. And then he makes a law. He's like, I am now selling this island to the Zean Construction Company. And the Matoran are like, what? And then you build a data center right there. I could see him being used for that sort of mission because he's got that flair, that showmanship. So, I don't know. 3 VBRs, I'm thinking. Maybe 4. Because, like, disintegration and telekinesis they're just straight up good abilities to have.
Yeah, you see, I'm looking at that power set, and I actually really like that power set specifically for going after Toa. Because I'm thinking, okay, he can make things disintegrate, he has telekinesis, and he can steal powers and siphon out energy like that. I think he'd be really, really good at sending one-on-one versus Toa.
Yeah. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, he might actually be good for taking out Makuta, right? Because it says he's in a coma after trying to siphon the Makuta of Stelts, which presumably means he survived an encounter and was powerful enough to go after a Makuta, right? And we have his disintegration staff, which could destroy the Makuta's armor. He has telekinesis, which of course is useful for a lot of things, and he can steal powers. So like if he wanted to, he could steal like a Fire Toa's power, disintegrate the shell, and then burn the antidermis, right? So he could be, actually a pretty good one-on-one combatant.
Leader of the anti-Makuta task force.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. That kind of, you make a good point, Matt. What are we thinking? 6 VBRs?
I think he might be, if he could actually...
I mean, obviously he's not Makuta level, but like he could be with prep time.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think he's actually higher than that. I think he would probably...
7 VBRs?
Yeah.
And he's a member of the Shadowed One species, so presumably he has some sort of enhanced reflexes and
How much
speed.
did we give... let me see. Ancient was 10, and Sentrak was 8, right? 7 or 8. I think...
I would put this guy at 7, maybe.
I think 7, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
6.5.
6.5.
6.5 VBRs, okay. So now we come on to Darkness. And this guy's funny because he was assigned to kill the Shadowed One if the Shadowed One ever looked weak or compassionate. And so he's just constantly watching from his throne room. And if the Shadowed One ever shows signs of weakness, he'll just pounce and kill him. Which is weird because that means presumably he is strong enough to kill the Shadowed One if he wanted. And the Shadowed One knows he's there, right? Like, he kind of hired him for this job. So we only know of one power that Darkness has, and that's super elasticity. So like he can like squeeze and move and stretch like insane amounts. He's also just a big guy. The Shadowed One even says he probably has other powers, but he doesn't know what they would be. And he looks heckin' sick, so I think that adds at least like 1 VBR. So he does actually show up in Legacy of Evil. He confronts the Paraka, and when they see him, they're like, "Oh man,
we're busted."
Yeah. So we don't know if they were scared because of his power or because of what he represents, which is that you're totally caught. But I would like to imagine it's a little of both, because elasticity of that degree is actually really powerful. Think like what's his name? Plastic Man or Elongated Man or Mr. Fantastic. Like, it makes you really durable, right? And super versatile in what you can do. So like if you want this guy for like an infiltration or like a thieving sort of mission, he's probably one of your best bets, right?
Yeah. Plus, he's presumably powerful enough to kill the Shadowed
Yeah,
One.
and he's intelligent, right? Like he's not a dumb brick like so many other Dark Hunters. Man, I could see this guy. Maybe he could also be. I may even put him at like an 8. What do you guys think?
I think it's probably reasonable to have him at an 8 because he's not going to be used very often, right?
Mhm.
Like, so you could justify the expense when you actually need him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think an 8's pretty reasonable. I mean, you know, the Shadowed One's, you know, he's like the baddest guy around, and basically hired this guy and said, "Yo, if you ever mog me, just kill me," right?
Yeah. The Shadowed One's
think
like, I
an
gotta
8
look max harder.
I might even go higher. I might go 8.5. Because, okay,
Ooh,
so,
8.5.
all right, so we've got the Ancient at a 10. No, I'm going 9. I'm going 9 with this guy.
Okay.
Because if
9,
he's
okay.
if he's presumably close, if not maybe even slightly above the Shadowed One, then he's got to be really close to the Ancient.
Yeah.
I want to see more of his powers before I spend the money up front, but I can see justifying that. Okay, now we come to Devastator. And if you thought the other guys were powerful, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because Devastator is one of the most powerful characters in the universe. He was first discovered on Karzani, the island, climbing out of a fiery crag. And this twisted island of origin corrupted him, and now he destroys anything that inconveniences. So obviously, you see what archetype he got for the recruitment sort of thing.
Yep.
And his powers are, he's as strong as 5 Toa, and if that's 5 Toa of stone, that's pretty heckin' strong. He has fire breath, he can transform into lava, and he can summon the dead. That's if he tells it, of course, because that's not his actual verifiable power set or origin. He just lies. What we do know he has is he actually has powerful telekinesis, and he can turn into sand. Those are his actual powers. And he got beat by Toa Lee Khan.
Hey,
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
Wait, so what does that mean? Is he actually one of the most powerful?
No.
Okay.
Because in his lore entry, it says he is one of the most powerful characters in the universe, just behind the Great Spirit Madanui.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, this guy's got a sense of humor. Actually, I think he's just full of himself, but he was sent with Gladiator and Triglax to go get the Nui Stone, so we see him in many deaths of Toa Toyet, and Lekana and Nadiki beat him. And I have no clue why on this mission they would send this group of individuals, because none of them are stealthy. Gladiator is not stealthy, Devastator is not stealthy, and Triglax is a shapeshifter, but he doesn't have any stealth abilities. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. How much would you guys pay for a telekinetic who can turn into sand and gets beat by Toa Fire and has delusions of grandeur? I'm thinking...
Well, I mean, yeah.
He is powerful enough to rain down boulders with his telekinesis, so that's something, but I'm thinking like 3 VBR, because I don't
think
want a
that's too
narcissist
high.
liar on my team.
I was thinking 1 to 2.
I was thinking 3 VBR is like Toa-ish level, right? Like, he can contend with a Toa, and he did lose to Toa Lee Khan, who is worth 10 Toa.
No, he's worth 6 Toa.
6 Toa. I can do math. So I'm thinking 3 VBR, but you guys wanting to go lower?
well, you see, now I'm at a point where I don't know if I can believe any of these powers because I don't know if he's just
Exactly.
passing himself up, right?
Those last 2 powers we have seen be used.
Verifiable.
Verifiable powers.
Yeah.
Telekinesis and sand. Yeah, but
Yeah.
he also I know Lee Khan's a badass, but he still lost 1v1 to a Toa, so I think that kind of limits it for me, right? If I'm gonna hire one of these guys, I want him to be able to be on
Because
top
not
of
about
that
the powers you
situation.
have, it's how effective you are, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when he
what,
turns
2
in,
VBR?
Wait, I have a question. When he turns into sand, can he move the sand?
Yes.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
Sandman.
Okay, gotcha.
Or like the
I was like,
Barraki.
this feels like a useless power
Yeah.
unless he can use his telekinesis to pick himself up as sand.
Oh, that would be cool. Maybe that's how he does it. That's heckin' sick. Jerbraz is like, dang it, it should have been me.
I don't know. I still feel like he's
What's your VBR?
around 2.
2
I'm gonna
VBR?
say 2 VBR.
Mhm.
Matt, you thinking 2
Yeah,
VBR?
I think fire plus sand makes glass. The dude's a 2.
Dudes, okay. So now we come to Dweller. So he is the top spy for for the Dark Hunters, and he used to be an assassin who is extremely loyal, or is extremely loyal, and he was assigned to watch Metro Nui post Great Cataclysm. Okay, so his powers are he has excellent telepathy. That's his only power, but this allows him to scan minds for info, and it's implied he can scan up to hundreds of minds at the same time if he's like looking for a bit of info. He can also prevent mental attacks against himself by throwing up a mental shield. He is strong enough to telepathically kill people.
What?
Which I'm like, whoa, that's actually heckin' nuts. And he can induce nightmares in a target. So he's a sadistic guy, and we see him 500 years after Great Cataclysm, just tormenting Rahaga and Norik with nightmares, being like, he's just a jerk like that, and he loves it so much.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. So how much would we pay for Dweller? Because as far as I can tell, he's actually the most powerful telepath we've seen.
Besides Trent Crom,
obviously.
Yeah.
Like, I don't count him as, one of the major ones. So I'm thinking I would do 5 with this. You could steal like so many secrets.
Yeah, that's
with this
what I
guy.
was thinking.
Or
I'm
you could just troll
the amount
people
of
and
information you could
make him have nightmares or
Well,
whatever.
And since he used to be an assassin, I feel like he still would make a good assassin, especially being able to kill people telepathically. Like, what does that
Obviously,
even
it takes
mean?
a while.
Like,
but
does that mean like
I would assume
you
it's total
attack
brain
their
death.
mind so much that they eventually just completely
well, you
shut
probably
down?
like placebo effect their body to where like your mind is like, I'm in so much pain, and your like heart just like pops or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Presumably it does take a while though, because like there are people he wants to kill in the story, but he's like, I don't.
But the question
do
is,
it.
if you can induce nightmares, can you paralyze them long enough to also kill them through their mind?
Well, if they're sleeping, I'd feel like you'd. Yeah, I don't know. Is he like a Freddy Krueger sort of thing?
I feel like he's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 6.
I was gonna say 6 seems pretty fair, because he has limitations, but like he's really good at what he does, and especially for like corporate espionage, unparalleled, I would assume.
Yeah.
It's like if you're thinking about the secret, boom, it's gone. I have it now. Okay, we good with the 6, Matt?
Yeah, I think so. This is another one who's like super specialized, but he seems so effective at that specialization that let's go with that.
Cool. So now we come to Fire Kadrax, who was a Taumaturn whose village was attacked by Visorak. And the villagers, when they were all running away, they fell into energized protoderms, all of them, by the way. So I'm like, what sort of like cartoon scenario is going on here? And he was only.
Sorry, I was gonna say it's like at the end of Lord of the Rings when they destroy the ring and then Sauron's tower crumbles
and
and then
all
the
the
giant like moon shaped
hole that just kills all the
opens up and
orcs.
kills all the orcs and they're perfectly fine right there in the middle. Yeah.
And so he was the only one to survive the transformation. So like they're running for Visorak, everyone falls in, and he's just like, oh, I guess I'm alone now. Very sad. And he joined the Dark Hunters during the Brotherhood of Makuta War because he wants to kill Visorak. That is his like only purpose and joy in life. He's like, I just want to murder those little freaky spiders. And Fire Kadrax is also his real name, which I'm like, okay, bro.
That is actually the craziest Taumaturn name we've ever heard.
Yeah. It's like you got like Takua, Fire Kadrax. It's like, I wonder what element of Matoran he could be. And so his powers are that he has a spinner that redirects all thermal energy from the air into the spinner, and then of course he can shoot it right at you. So if you're fighting like a fire toa or whatever and like the air is hot, he can just like suck it all up and then ka-choom.
Well, that does make me wonder, if there isn't fire in the air, it still takes the
thermal
ambient
energy
heat and then channels that, so it doesn't make the room significantly colder.
I would presume so.
Okay.
Yeah, because it said even with like just his basic attack, it can do some devastating heat damage. So I'm like, I think it's sucking almost all the thermal energy out of the air. And he also has a highly durable shield. So I'm like, he can just like block whatever and then shoot his spinner at you. And fun little note. He was built wrong in the book, and the actual entry for him looks way cooler because they messed him up in like 3 different ways. They like put his head on wrong and like his torso on backwards, and so he looks completely different. I remember seeing the original one. I'm like, oh, this is a cool reinterpretation of Fire K-Drax, and it's like it's the same. This is the original entry. I'm like, what did they do on this Dark Hunters? Because almost all, like a ton of Dark Hunters were built wrong. Almost every single image in the book is mirrored for some random reason, and the cover has Kitongu on it, who is not a Dark Hunter. So it's like, I don't know what they were doing at all.
Whoever was working on that book probably got fired.
Yeah. So how much are we paying for Fire K-Drax? He seems pretty specialized, but like if he's in like a hot or arid environment, I can see him being way more effective. But I think probably like a 2.
I was going to say 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
He would be good for like taking out Fire Toe, I'd imagine, but...
Yeah, I'll say 2.25.
2.25, okay.
Split the difference.
Getting real stingy. So now we come to Gatherer, who was a wise and virtuous Onu Matoran leader who interfered in a Dark Hunter mission. So, because of that, he was kidnapped and persuaded to become a Dark Hunter. He was then augmented. And I don't know what method was used to persuade him, but it was obviously some really messed up stuff.
Just so you know, it's not Fire K-Drax.
Oh,
it's Fire Dracax.
Fire Dracax. I get it wrong every time.
Fire Dracax.
Fire Dracax. Fire K. I don't know why that's been like a mental... I knew that, but it's been like a mental block for me my whole life. Fire Dracax. Fake name. I built the name wrong, okay? I'm just following in the spirit of the Dark Hunter book. Anyway, so Gatherer, I don't know how he's persuaded, what method, but the Shadowed One does say, does he, at times, miss his old life? Does some part of him rebel against his existence as a Dark Hunter and long for the innocence of Matoran? I don't know. I don't care. I'm like, dang, that's so unnecessarily brutal. Like, this is the Shadowed One's, like, personal... like accounting of all the Dark Hunters, and he's writing this in it. I'm like, what a jerk. Anyway, he's just a sad case. I'm like, man, the Shadowed One even says he was like trustworthy and righteous and had all those other contemptible virtues, right? So
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
I know. So I'm like, what did they do to persuade him? Like, this seems like a complete mind wipe. I guess he got Sentrak to like mind wipe him.
Probably.
It's probably the case.
Yeah.
So very sad. This is the entry that made me the sad. I'm like, I don't know, Phantom's pretty sad. We'll get to him. But Gatherer is actually really cool because every time he defeats someone, he collects an armor piece from him and then adds it to himself. So we know how like Matoran can like rebuild themselves or whatever. Essentially, he's like this hulking behemoth with so many armaments and weapons, but he is still technically just a Matoran. So if you want to see the limits to how far they can rebuild, I was like, that is so heckin' cool. And we know he's still just a Matoran because he has his elemental affiliation still. So he has affinity with the earth. He has the low light vision. I'm like, that's crazy. But he was modified to not need food or sleep. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. And he has the ability to control subterranean Rahi telepathically. And that's not all. Because he has, for his weapons, thick armor, like super thick armor, because it's just like tons of armor stacked on top of each other. He has a Kanoka launcher that has Mind Scramble Kanoka. He has a blade that can slice through solid protodermis. He has an energy cannon, and he has a bladed shield. So I'm like, this guy's a total beast. Like, what a powerhouse. What are we thinking for this guy? Because control of subterranean Rahi is kind of nuts, especially with like no need to like eat or sleep. Like, this guy can just keep mining. Like, send him to any sort of underground thing. I think he would take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the fact that he's still technically a Matoran is gonna bear any physical limitations there with what he can do?
I don't really know, because he is kind of like a giant guy, so I don't think he would be physically limited. Like, obviously he's not going to be like blitzing anybody. I don't even know if he would be sprinting, but he is like durable enough to tank shots. So yeah, because he would still have like the low level kind of Matoran strength, I would assume. Well, no, because when they get rebuilt, they are stronger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he presumably would scale somewhat with his size.
I want to know how he got enough armor pieces to survive? Like, how did he survive the first?
It was
few
like an
fights
RPG.
enough-
He was going up against like 70 level
Yeah,
foes.
there you go.
Some Dark Hunter mission is like kill one Mator, and the Shadow One's like, what the heck? And he's like, I got just the guy. I mean, he did have the subterranean Rahi control
That's
when he joined.
True,
so.
but it just, yeah. Anyway,
Like, imagine a Tatorok's underground, and he gets to control the Tatorok. But as soon as it breaks the surface, suddenly he can't control it anymore. I don't know, I'm thinking like, what? 4 or 5 VBRs?
I would say 3.5.
3.5, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna go with the 3. Yeah.
Dang. I think because he fills a unique niche, right? Like underground missions and control over subterranean Rahi, where you get some of the crazier ones like blade burrowers and lava eels and stuff. Kraka's underground, you know.
True.
So, okay, we'll do yours though. 3.5.
We'll say 3.5. We'll split the difference.
Now we come to Gladiator, who is one of the slave races of the Stelton species. And he was used as a gladiator in their fight arenas. However, during one match, he went full rage mode and broke out of there. And so 12 of Kreka's species went to go and subdue him. And he took them all out. And it took half a precinct of enforcers and guards to finally get him back in his cage. I'm like, okay, that's a really impressive feat of combat prowess and strength, because holy moly, 12 Krekas? What the heck? Obviously, they weren't Kreka, so they weren't fully upscaled, but you know what I mean. And the Dark Hunters were so impressed with this that they broke him out of jail and recruited him. And later, he was used to test Sidorak for his initiation, and he completely obliterated Sidorak because he was stronger, and he was more agile, and he was more skilled.
Dang.
And this guy is huge, mind you. He's like,
Yeah, Gladiator's build is insane.
he's like 20 feet tall, I would imagine. So I'm like, that's pretty impressive. And he was one of the ones that went to Metro Nui to go get the Nui Stone. So he was defeated by Likan and Nadiki. Make of that what you will. So he has super strength, is very quick and agile, and has razor sharp claws. What are we thinking? I'm thinking a 4, because I don't see a whole lot of mission types that he's useful on, but I feel like if you want to just like use him as a distraction or just obliterate something, he's one of the best options.
Yeah, he's definitely a brute force piece, right? But you're right that this is another guy that I see him working better in a group than by himself, because I just feel like what you said, there's parts of the mission where he's going to be a little bit weaker. So I would say like a 4. Yeah.
4. Okay. We good with that?
Yep.
Now we move on to Krata Call, who's created when Pterodax put a Krata into the Barraki mutagen. I don't know how he got a hold of that, but he did. And this gave the Krata more powers and enhanced intellect, but most importantly, it gave him free will. Uh-oh. So, Pterodax didn't really know this at the time, and he made it a special suit of Kratakal armor, and he's like, oh, this is heckin' cool. But he's like, I want to have my Kratakal creation grow. I'll give him to the Dark Hunters so they can like train it, you know, and send it out on missions so he can get some life experience. But unfortunately, Kratakal liked the Dark Hunters way more than he liked Makuta, so he defected to the Dark Hunters permanently.
Dang.
Boy.
And because of that, Makuta hasn't made any more Kratakal, because he's like, they'll just betray me again, I know it. Which is so funny. And however, that free will and individuality continues on in the Dark Hunters, because frequently when he's on missions, he'll just ignore the mission and do whatever the heck he wants.
I mean,
Yeah, and one time the Shadowed One got so fed up with him when he came back from a mission and was like goofing around, he's like, Vezok, get him. And Vezok's like, ah! And like broke parts of his armor, which is so funny to me. So his powers are he has a high intellect, he has some control over shadow, water, and fire. His armor is also stronger than normal Rakshi armor. He can speak, and just a side note here, the Call mutagen apparently turns everyone into selfish jerkwads. But it did give him some amount of inner light, which is crazy coming from a Krata, which is made of pure shadow.
antidermis, yeah.
And he also has a Kanoka launcher and a double-bladed flame sword. I'm like, this guy is stacked to the slimy gills with abilities and equipment. So what are we thinking here? Because I think his biggest liability is his just go off script, do whatever you want. But control over shadow, water, and fire is great because that really limits his amount of weaknesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
but can you trust him though? Is the thing, right?
Yeah,
the power doesn't really mean anything if you can't trust him to follow through with the mission. If he's always sort of going off doing his own thing, then I don't know if it even matters.
I feel like you'd have to use him for a very small task, right? Like you have this one thing to do, just go do that, and then you don't have to worry about him after that.
Yeah. Yeah, the more you limit his exposure or time on the job, the less likely he will go off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if we're going by powers, I would probably put him at like a 5 or a 6 VBR, but taking personality into account, I'd probably do like 2.5, honestly. I don't like unreliability, especially when I'm hiring Dark Hunters.
He would be good as a distraction.
I think he'd be great as a distraction because he could, like, because his intellect and control over Shadow would make him so hard to catch, right? Samuel seems unconvinced.
No, I'm not. I agree that he could be lower.
He also has a Kanoka launcher.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you say, 2.5?
2.5 with personality into account. But if he was a bit more focused, I'd put him at like a 5 or a 6.
I think I could accept 2.5.
So now we come to Lurker. I barely know her.
Thomas.
He was a murderer for hire. Actually, he was a murderer first. Then he's like, this is pretty cool. He became a murderer for hire and then was recruited into the Dark Hunters because the Shadowed One doesn't like competition, which should give you kind of a gauge on how much murder this guy was actually doing. When you're cutting into like the professional like market share of the Dark Hunters on murder, that's a lot of murder. And apparently before this, he didn't really have any powers because when he joined the Dark Hunters, he was given his choice of improvements. All he chose was blades, stingers, claws, and 2 masks on his shoulders to make him look cool. I'm not joking. None of which have powers. But he's also a good climber. And he ambushes people from above. That's like his shtick. I'm like, what is with this guy? Alfred, if I want him for murder, I could probably get him for cheap because he'd be like, I'm fiending for a bit of murder. What do you guys think?
I don't see his use case, like, unless you just want to unleash like a mass murderer on, I guess in that case, like, again, kind of going back to like the crawl to call thing, he could be a really good distraction or like to cause turmoil in a like urban,
a civilian population.
Yeah, like exactly.
Yeah. I could see him also being used to like, because even in like city environments, climbing is a really good skill to have, and that's the one skill he does have. So if you're wanting to be like, yeah, take out this group of people in a city, I can see him hanging around smokestacks and just jumping on people and getting them, right? But it had to be like pretty non-powered species. Like, I don't even know if he could take out a Vortex, because Vortex are really strong.
I feel like I see his use in Metro Nui.
Yeah.
Specifically, like, that's what I was thinking of. Like, he could totally rampage and just kill as many Matoran as he possibly could. I think he would probably be able...
I think he'd probably even get taken down, like, by Archivists if they got called in. Because Archivists are taking down some insane Rahi, right?
Maybe.
Like, if you hit him with a freeze disc, this guy's done.
True. I don't know. I think
he would be a budget option for mass murder of weak people. I would see him at like 1.5 VBR. It's like, I just need to take out some mooks, and I don't want to do it myself. I'll buy this guy. What do you think? He's like your entry level murder.
He's someone you would hire as like, a mercenary for urban warfare, right?
Yeah. I think you're probably right. He would be low.
Because like lack of super
strength. I think
strength...
one's too low. 1.5, I think.
I think 1.5.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Matt?
I'll be contrarian. I'll go 2.
2? Okay. Dang. Matt's a big fan of murder. Note that down. Yeah, and he's not going to get lost on the job. Like, if the job is to assassinate, you know what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, you know,
That's
he's
true.
going to do it. He's going to have fun.
Yeah. And that's what really matters, you know. He did his best.
He finds satisfaction in his line of work. That's what really does matter.
It's
now
the
we
friends
come-
we killed along the way.
Okay, so now we come to Mimic, who lived on an island with a friend. Aww. One day, a storm hits, and during this time, Mimic discovers his power, which is he can duplicate any physical feat he sees perfectly and with no practice. So kind of like Taskmaster for Marvel, although presumably like it doesn't fade away. Like the Shadowed One makes explicit mention that this guy used his powers to the full ability, he would be crazy powerful. It's like show him someone shooting a gun really well, boom, he's a perfect marksman. Show him someone fighting with a sword, boom, perfect swordsman. So I'm like, wow, that's really good. However, after he discovered this power, his friend mysteriously went missing, and some Dark Hunters showed up and said, "We'll help you find our friend if you join the Dark Hunters." And so, in a state of emotional distress and duress, and under duress, he was recruited into the Dark Hunters. However, since he never goes into the Dark Hunter dungeons, he'll never find his friend.
That's so sad.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, that's heckin' brutal. So yeah, he's a very good pawn for the Shadowed One.
So one day during a storm, he discovers his powers. What exactly did he?
I like to think his friend was like doing backflips to kick like pieces of debris away from a hurricane.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can do it too. Or maybe like they're trying to climb up a wall to safety or whatever, and he wasn't as skilled, but she did it, and then he's like, oh, I can do it too.
Maybe.
You know, maybe he saw
I guess.
Vizorak climbing a wall, and he's like, I can do it too. And he's Spider-Man.
That's his
he's
catchphrase.
not,
I can
he's
do it
not
too.
much of like a mercenary, but if the Shadow One put him in the NBA draft, he'd clean up.
Yeah, true.
So-
Another perfect candidate for the Olympics.
Dude, this guy would be perfect for throwing Kolhi matches or like Akalini tournaments or whatever. Like, think
He
of the
rigs
havoc
them.
he could wreak on sports. Man, this guy is Paulie Market's best friend.
Just like sell him to the Metro Nui Mafia. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. But there's a lot of other stuff you could do, like against like physically inclined species like Lariska or something. Like he would match and do it probably better than they could.
Yeah.
So if you'd have to go against like non-powered targets.
Yep.
But man, some crazy stuff. Like send him like against like Hydraxin or something, right? And he just do everything Hydraxin can do, but better. So I think he'd be pretty good for like one-on-one fights or some sort of more esoteric like sports thing.
Yeah.
Competitions, perhaps. I don't know. It's weird. I feel like there's use cases. I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
So what kind of species is he?
Don't know.
Okay.
Species. You know what? Honestly, there's a lot. Since he can learn any physical feat through just watching, that would include stuff like cooking and like any sort of technical skill, right?
Uh-huh.
So like if he watches someone like write insanely fast, he could then write insanely fast, correct?
He should be able
Right?
to, yeah.
Or you could use him as a sort of trainer or repository of knowledge. Like if you have some special work requirements in like a factory on Zia, he could learn it instantly and then show people how to do it, right?
Yeah.
And fill in if he needs to. So I feel like you wouldn't use this guy for dark huntery purposes. You'd use him more as like, I don't know, a trainer, a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Like imagine you're like, I want to get a 6-pack, and Minion's like, or Mimic's like, okay, here's what you're gonna do. You go 1, 2, 3, and he's like, sorry, I did that a little too perfectly. I'll dumb it down for you.
I feel like I would probably put him at
A 3.
yeah, because he could be very useful, but I think in a lot of cases he's gonna be more of a hindrance than a help. Not a hindrance in the fact that like he wouldn't be capable of handling himself, but if he is up against or put into a situation where it's against powered individuals, I don't think he's gonna do.
To be fair, we've seen some crazy athletic feats from people in Bionicle.
That's true, but you have to consider that you would have to find someone with this athletic skill to
copy.
to copy for Mimic, right? So it's like, which in the case of Lariska, you
I was gonna say, if
already
he
do
copies
have
Lariska,
access to someone who has probably some of the highest acrobatic skill in all of Bionicle. But even still, I feel like I don't know if that's enough to...
Yeah, because he's gonna get shut down by like telepaths, elemental users, like
Yeah.
a lot of the more intangibles. So yeah, I don't know. What are we thinking? 4?
Maybe I might bump it up. I could be convinced.
Because I think the
4 or
versatility
5.
allows
Yeah.
him to be put on a lot of different missions as
Yeah.
well. What do you think, Matt?
You know, I'm not quite so hot on this one. I'm gonna go 3.5.
Oh, okay. Bro does not like chefs. Anyway. Now we come on to Minion, not a yellow guy with one eye, entirely separate person. This guy was created by the Brotherhood of Makuta, and he was used as an enforcer. And he was meant to be dumb, but somewhere along the line of the experiments, he gained cognizance and, like, intelligence. However, he still never talked. He kept quiet, and he was just an enforcer guard for years. However, during the raid on Destral by the Toahaga, he escaped and joined the Dark Hunters, which I'm like, oh, that's actually cool for that to happen. But when he joins the Dark Hunters, the Shadowed One's like, yes, a guy was on the inside of the Brotherhood of Makuta. Think of all the secrets I could get from this guy. But a Minion doesn't talk. He's completely mute. We don't know if he chooses not to talk or if he's physically incapable of talking. And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, his color scheme is blue and silver. He's part of the Brotherhood. He's mute by either choice or chance. We don't know. I think this is just Vampira shapeshifted. Like imagine that as like the biggest troll of all time. Vampira just goes in to the Dark Hunters pretending to be an agent and just still doesn't talk about anything. Because Vampira is the Makuta of Odina.
Oh, that's crazy.
This could be true, guys. Greg is like, someone finally figured it out. So he does have a few powers though. He has stated impenetrable armor. No one else has been stated to have impenetrable armor. So this is actually a pretty impressive thing, if true. He also has claws, and he has insane tracking skills, either in general or insane Makuta sensing skills. It's unclear. So either he can sense Makuta from like miles away, and that's why the Shadowed One keeps him around, that and in case he starts talking again, or he's just a really good tracker, and the Shadowed One wants to use those tracking skills to watch out for Makuta coming. The entry makes it unclear on which one it is, but I like to think he's just a professional rage baiter, and he doesn't have any power. So, what do you guys think? How much would you pay for a mute guy who's indestructible and can maybe track things, or just Makuta? I don't think I'd pay a whole... I don't know what I'd even use this guy for.
I was going to say the same thing.
Like 0.5 maybe?
Like, he doesn't sound strictly ineffective. I just don't know.
Like, I think I would use him just as a guard.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, that's all I would use him for. I'd pay him 0.5 VBR as a guard. I don't know what else you could do with him.
He'd be a great bouncer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
true.
Yeah, it's just...
Isn't that what Kreka did?
Kreka was a bouncer.
was a bouncer, yeah. That's so funny.
So, now we come on to... Wait, are we good with the 0.5?
Yeah, I think 0.5 is reasonable.
We move on now to the Hordica dragons. So these are actually 8 Dark Hunters that were mutated by Hordica venom. And apparently they all turned into the same thing, which is a bit crazy. Not like the same entity, but 8 different things that are all same somehow. So I'm like, were all the 8 Dark Hunters that were mutated of the same species, and they all turned into Hordica dragons? I don't know. Anyway, they're exposed to Hordica venom, and they turned into whatever the Hordica dragon is. It's like a combiner of the Toa Hordica. And they are used primarily to collect debts, even though they don't seem that particularly menacing or powerful. And they haven't given into their Hordica side completely, so they're still like cognizant and able to speak and think and reason, which is why they're on the payroll. But the Shadowed One's like, it's just a matter of time till they go completely nuts.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, do we know how long they've been this?
I don't know. I'd presume a few thousand years. I would not imagine it's super long. However, here are their powers. They have enhanced speed, strength, and tracking senses. They also have electric claws, and of course they have their animalistic nature, which presumably is what gives them the speed, strength, and tracking senses. And they all have Rotuka powers, but what the power is unknown. So, how much would you pay for a Hortica dragon? I'm thinking like a 1. Like, they could be kind of spooky, but like they don't seem particularly good at anything.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It doesn't sound like they'd be the I don't know, there's a number of these guys who it doesn't really sound like you'd want to trust them to run a whole mission by themselves, right? And this is one of those.
I mean, that's why people are mostly paired up as well.
Yeah. It's supposedly because the Shadowed One doesn't trust him, but I guess it's just because he doesn't trust him to get the job done.
So,
but, yeah, one.
I think these guys are actually in the perfect position with being used to collect debts, because presumably it's someone who's not going to be super powerful if they're hiring Dark Hunters. And also, they look scary and spooky, and there's 8 of them, so even if one does get killed, he's like, I'll just send 7 more.
Yeah.
So I think I would use them as like debt collectors to just, or like as a way to intimidate people. I can't imagine them going on actual missions though.
Yeah, I think 1 is, and would that be 1 apiece? Like, or is that 1 for the whole group?
One apiece.
Okay.
1 for the whole group. I would pay more for the whole group.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah, I'm good with 1.
Okay. Now we come to Phantom, and he is the most base Dark Hunter of all time. I heckin' love Phantom. He was a Ninra ghost on an island that felt they needed a hero. And so he was chosen for the project. And he went through a ton of experiments, including exposure to some variant of energized protodermis. Now this confused me because I'm like, how do you have a variant of energized? What does that even mean? It's never explained and I don't know. So, like, you do you.
Solid energized protodermis, gaseous energized.
He took a pill of energized protodermis. The energized protodermis is like, I've sensed something is extremely wrong. Anyway, once finished, they had this new super powerful guy, but all the Matoran were disgusted by his new appearance and horrified by their experiments, and they shunned him. Matoran are jerks.
That's terrible.
I'm like, what is wrong with you? You took this pure-hearted individual who like went through all these crazy experiments, and then you're just like, nah, we hate your guts. It was very Beta Ray Bill, if you know of that character from Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty much the exact origin story. And so, obviously despondent and very disillusioned, he went and left and joined the Dark Hunters. However, when he joined the Dark Hunters, he still retains his conscience, making him have limited usefulness because he won't accept missions that go against his moral code.
Huh.
So I'm like, that's crazy. Like, a Dark Hunter with morals who just joined because he's like, I have literally nowhere else to go. Even my closest friends hate my guts because of what they did to me. Like, I would be mad. I'm getting mad thinking about it. I hate Mator.
Justice for Phantom.
Yeah, and this will be kind of a theme going through the next few Dark Hunters. So, his powers are he has increased strength, limited flight, improved eyesight, he can turn invisible at will, and still retains his Ninra Ghost crafting expertise.
Huh.
So he's much like a Phantom, you know, if a Phantom was like a blacksmith. I think he's actually really cool. Like, turning invisible at will is nuts. Along with flight and strength, like, that's a really good power set for infiltration. Not so much assassination, really.
Yeah, I don't see him as an assassin, but holy cow, like as a like paratrooper almost kind of.
Oh yeah,
like
drop him
scout-
into like a remote location or something,
yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Like
That would be
would be
cool.
really good.
Yeah, you want him up against people with good tracking skills though, because they could still like smell him.
Yeah.
But yeah, in like a more like urban environment, I think he could be nuts. 5, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I was gonna go 4. Yeah.
Let's split the difference. 4.5.
4.5 VBR. Now we come onto Poison. So Poison is a Rahi-looking species that was hunted to near extinction by Matoran. Matoran are jerks. I hope this is becoming more clear to you people. Anyway, so because of this, he hates Matoran profusely, which understandable. And he was recruited into the Dark Hunters after they saw him attacking a Matoran village, and he was getting completely annihilated by the local Toa. However, Poison is not very intelligent. because he has attacked this village multiple times and gotten beat, presumably multiple times. And when the Dark Hunters recruited him, they noticed something strange. He has a severe vulnerability to his own poison. He never knew this before.
How did they figure this out?
So, it says, as they're doing it, they figured it out, and this is a quote from the Shadowed One. Biologically, my researchers are unsure how this is possible. Because he has like an internal sac of poison that he can use to spit out at people. So it's like, is he touching? What is going on here? And I'm like, so the Shadowed One is not a biologist. No one in Bionicle is a biologist, apparently. Anyway, I just thought that was so funny. I'm like, this is hilarious. However, his venom is pretty effective because it kills. It's a paralytic venom. So if it hits you, you're paralyzed. And then in 30 minutes, it will kill you. Straight up. And he also has a tail that can stun you. So like he could stun you, then paralyze you, then just leave you to die. Which I'm like, that's actually a pretty effective combo. But paired with kind of a lower intelligence is not great. But I think pairing up with a high intelligence Dark Hunter could be pretty sick. How much would we pay for poison? I'm thinking 2, maybe 2.5. I could see, because in the right situations, I think he could take out a Toa.
Oh yeah, I think he could, but I don't know how often that would happen. Like, it would have to be in a very specific set of circumstances for him to actually win.
Yeah, because he's not particularly stealthy or anything either.
Yeah.
I mean,
what do you guys think?
He kept getting knocked back trying to take down a village of Matoran. So I don't know.
That is true.
I mean, a Toa was guarding the village, so keep that in mind.
Okay.
But he was losing to the Toa.
I would drop lower. I'd say 1.75.
1.75?
Yeah, I was going to say 1.5, yeah.
Okay. Now we come on to Primal. And this guy led a resistance in Vizorak besieged lands. You can see this book came out around the time of the Hordica because there's a lot of Vizorak mentions. And when the Shadowed One came upon this resistance, he recruited all of the warriors from the band, but then let all of the other villagers get completely wiped out and die. It said he actually betrayed their position to the Vizorak, so they got wiped out. And so, when Primal joined, he refused to get most enhancements or implants, except for one thing under his skin that can paralyze people, which I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. But mostly, he just uses his spear, which is the only other weapon that he has. And he has a strange sense of justice that sometimes leads to him killing clients or partners. And so he is now being sent alone on missions because the Shadowed One lost too many Dark Hunters to him. And I'm sitting there like, what the heck? Like, how skilled is this guy that he's taking out? And also, why would you he's taking out clients? This is the only Dark Hunter said to ever take out clients. Like, not even Kratakal is said to take out clients. That's crazy. But also, he doesn't accept missions that don't have cool trophies that he could get from them. And so the Shadowed One is literally like, I want to kill this guy, but he's really good at what he does. I'm like, he better heckin' be good at what he does. I like to imagine Makuta hired him one time, and then he's like, this my sense of justice, and he just kills the Makuta somehow. Like, that's the only thing I could, like, I don't know how this guy, because his powers are literally spear, with no abilities, and his paralysis device, which he only uses in dire circumstances. So it's not like he gets the jump on people. I'm like,
so how is he doing this?
I don't know. I'm like, he must have some sort of plot armor like ability. I don't understand.
Oh, dude.
It's very bizarre. I'm like, okay, you do you, Primal, but I'm not gonna hire you because you have a chance of killing me. What is with that?
That's a really good point.
So, what do we think? I'm thinking this guy's in the negatives.
I'm thinking he belongs with Air Watcher, away from me.
This guy's, he's basically like an RPG gamer, right? He only cares about the loot and kills the quest giver, and somehow you can't kill him because he's got plot armor.
Yeah, exactly. My gosh. Yeah, I think I'd make him -1. Like, I would rather have Air Watcher on my team.
I would go -1.5 because Air Watcher, worst case scenario, he flubs up the mission. Worst case scenario with Primal, you die.
Yeah. You give him money and then die.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, wow.
Dang, bro.
He's Mr. Frog. from
Yeah.
Smiling Friends.
Oh my god.
Moon level Mr. Frog. So next up we have Prototype. He was created when a Dark Hunter shot a Toa of Fire and a Toa of Earth with the Spear of Fusion. And so when they got fused, they went nuts and they disappeared for a while. And eventually, he was discovered again in a swamp, slightly damaged. And so they brought him back to the Dark Hunter HQ. They repaired him, and because he was completely insane and mad, the Shadowed One was able to easily recruit him. And I'm thinking, if you're completely insane, I feel like that'd make you way harder to recruit, right?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm like, that seems backwards to me.
But I'm like, sure, you do you, or whatever. However, he's not intelligent, and he's also insane, and he's extremely rageful. So he's just like a rage monster the whole time, except when we see him in Legacy of Evil, when he seems actually pretty chill and with it. So I'm like, this doesn't seem to line up with the lore, but you do you, I guess. His powers are pretty crazy, though, because his life force is tied to his armor, not to his organics. So that's kind of cool.
That is interesting.
As such, most of his organics have disappeared, and he's essentially just a giant hulking machine. His armor is also as close to indestructible as anything in Bionicle has ever been. I don't know how that stacks up against Minion's indestructible armor.
That's exactly what I was about to ask.
It says Minion's armor is impenetrable. It says that Prototype's armor is indestructible. So maybe it's just piercing damage that Minion can't take, but he could still be disintegrated. Whereas Prototype, we've seen disintegration rays bounce off of him. So presumably he has some sort of mystical indestructibility thing.
Yeah.
Probably tied to his life force being in the armor. Maybe it's his literal force of will that makes his armor. Whatever. I don't know. It's just so bizarre. But I'm like, that does put him more in line with a Makuta, actually. Because their life force is within the armor, and it can be thicker and more durable because of it. So, I don't know. It's very funny. And he's used as a practice dummy for trainees in the Dark Hunters. And if they survive a fight with him, they're allowed to go on missions. That's pretty funny. Because he has some earth and fire control and extreme strength. This guy moves super slow, but I imagine when he gets you, it's game over. So, what are we thinking for Prototype? Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, this guy's weird. I don't know what I'd use him for exactly.
Again, the insanity detracts severely.
Yeah. But he clearly can be cognizant and well-minded. Because, they trick him, and he goes off to warn the Shadowed One that he's being attacked. Right?
True.
So, I don't know. His inconsistent depiction makes it hard to tell what he would be. I would probably use him as just, a bruiser, kind of like the other ones, but at a 1.5, maybe 2.
Yeah, I'm going 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll go with 2 as well.
Okay. And do we want to end with this part of the episode with a really cool Dark Hunter, just so we're not leaving on a rando?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So we're going to end this one with Lariska.
Oh, yeah.
So, Lariska, we haven't talked about in depth before, but she is the second most trusted operative in the Order, just behind Ancient, which is really impressive. And she was entrusted to lead the organization when Ancient and the Shadowed One were gone. So I'm like, wow, that's a lot of trust in Lariska. She's also extremely competent and cynical, and she's very mission-focused when on a mission. She can be a bit more flighty or carefree when she's not on a mission. However, she has depth as a character, which I know we don't get from the Dark Hunters, because she has a soft spot for Nadiki, and they are genuinely friends. Which I'm like, that's actually crazy. But reading Birth of a Dark Hunter or whatever, and her stuff, I'm like, she actually did like Nadiki and wanted what was best for him, because she warned him against making a deal with Rudaka when Rudaka eventually ended up betraying him.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, wow, that's kind of nuts. So add some needed pathos and depth to her that I find really fascinating. She also has teal armor. Which I don't know of anyone else in Bionicle that has teal armor. It's a pretty unique color, right?
I feel like there's one coming to my mind. I mean, there are Matoran, in some of the the Tohunga have the teal armor, but I don't think main character.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because like it's not any of the Toa colors, really. It's none of the major Rakshi colors. So I just thought it gives her a unique flair, and the mocks make really good use of it. So her powers and weapons. She is super agile and flexible. She's also super fast and perceptive. She can jump tens of feet in the air from a standstill. And she's perceptive enough to see through Mask of Stealth users. So this isn't
That's crazy,
invisibility users, this is Mask of Stealth, where you're almost invisible and make no sound. And she basically is Spider-Man without the spider sense, is kind of how I put it. Like, her feats are pretty comparable to Spider-Man, which is nuts. She also has a mechanical arm because she tried to hide loot from the Shadowed One, and he found out. Which is crazy to think. She's the second most trusted Dark Hunter, and she has tried to hide loot from the Shadowed One, so I'm like, she must have like a crazy mission count if she's still the most trusted. And she can use Kanohi, but doesn't. And she's skilled in hand-to-hand as well as dagger combat. And not just normal dagger combat, she also has throwing daggers. And she sometimes poisons the daggers. And in the timeline, when they team up with the Order of Madanui, she gets proto-steel daggers. So I'm like, okay, that's a lot of things going for Lariska. Oh, one funny note, though, is when she recruited Nadiki into the Dark Hunters because she was like the main point of contact. And after that whole fiasco where they lost all of Metru Nui because of it, she was severely punished. So, like, dang, how did she become the second most trusted? And she does feel bad that Nadigi got transformed because she's like, I brought him into the Dark Hunter life.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, wow, I think that's the only Dark Hunter
who has
remorse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we thinking? Because I'm like, I may go like an 8 or 9 on Lariska.
Yeah, this is the most competent one we've seen in a minute, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Lariska is really interesting in the, like you said, she's competent, and that makes up for her lack of power, right? Because like Ancient's good, but he has a lot of power. And it's like Lariska's good purely on skill. Like she just has
she's not just good, she's really good.
She has raw skill, you know?
To me,
and
she's always seemed like what Hydraxin was trying to be.
Yeah, exactly. And the first time you're introduced to Lariska is in Legacy of Evil, right? And she like almost takes out the Shadowed One.
I mean, Shadowed One's obviously faster, but since he's been weakened, she may be the physically most skilled in the Dark Hunters.
Yeah, and it's just interesting to see that because, again, she doesn't have powers. Like, this is just her physical ability.
Good,
yeah. So I think she has to be, I would say 9 at least, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and her poisoning the daggers is also a major boon because if she has Protosteel daggers with poison on them, it's like, holy cow. That can cut through pretty much anything. Like, your durability is essentially pointless. And if she can speed Blitzu, like, I don't even know what your options are. Because, like, she's on Federation of Fear. And in terms of how she's presented narratively, like, she's almost on par with Brutaka.
That's who.
Which is nuts.
Who actually is, like, supernatural ability. Well, yeah.
Like, mountain level strength.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that we get enough sampling of Lariska in the story to see that she can hold her own in situations against powered individuals. Because a lot of our rankings had to do with like, well, but we don't know how they would do against powered individuals because they don't have powers themselves or whatever it may be. Lariska, we actually see her go against powered individuals, and she holds her own multiple times.
She no diffs Toa. Like, it's not even a contest. Like, Nadiki, he's a Toe of Air. Like, so he's very skilled, agile, perceptive. She outclasses him in every category.
Yeah.
It's like, and she's not even using a Kanohi, which she can. So it's like, dang. And I also said that she's kind of like the Embo of Bionicle. Because, like, anytime you do see her do stuff, it's like, wow, that's super impressive. And she doesn't get any major losses, as far as I know. Like, the only person she really loses to is Tread and Crom, but who doesn't?
Yeah.
I may go, like, 9 to 11, depending on what mission. Like, 11, that's where you're competing with, like, Makuta, where I'm like, I don't really know if she could take out a Makuta. But, like, 9, I think I would do solidly for pretty much any mission type.
Yeah, I think I could put her at a 9, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I would say 9.5, right? So like just below Ancient.
Yeah, because I still think Ancient would probably beat her. Like I don't even know how she could take him. I mean, Proto Steel Dagger Poison is the only thing, but Ancient's also pretty speedy and can levitate.
Yeah. I think that would be actually one of his greatest advantages is the levitation. Like over her, there's very little she can actually do to like get to him if he was just like, I'm just gonna stay back here. And
Yeah. Man, that would be a cool fight. Anyway, so that has been this episode of The Dark Hunters. Come back for part 2 for more Dark Hunters, because man, there's a whole lot of Dark Hunters.
I did not realize it. I mean, I knew it like intuitively, but I did not, like, I couldn't have told you the number. And yeah.
Well, when I started writing, I'm like, okay, this should be fairly easy notes. I'm just summarizing the Dark Hunters, whatever. And then at 2:00 in the morning, I'm like, there were way more Dark Hunters than I thought there were. Yeah. So, I really like the Dark Hunters, but I don't think they're the best faction. I think they're probably the weakest of the main factions in terms of how much I do care about them.
Yeah.
Because like the Brotherhood and are just so interesting.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Matt?
I think this would be a really interesting group to adapt just because they're all, it really is like an Island of Misfit Toys situation, right? Where you have all of these people from all of these different areas who don't really fit together, and they're all here because they don't really have anywhere else to go. And they're pretty much, forced into this life of violence and usury. I think it could be a very interesting thing to adapt, and there could be, especially when you look at someone like Lariska and that relationship that she has with like Nadiki. I think there is some very fun character moments that you could play off of with these characters. If just speaking of what an adaptation would look like.
Yeah.
If only there was someone adapting the Bionicle story.
Man, there's no people at all doing that right now. There's absolutely there's nothing going on in the Bionicle fandom.
Yeah, dead.
It's absolutely dead.
Radio silent. Ever since Bionicle ended.
Take this part and put it right at the beginning of the video so that the Lego company will see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Lego company, we don't know what Bionicle is. How could we possibly adapt it, right? Well, thanks for joining us, Matt. This was super fun. We're glad you came.
Yeah, man, it was a blast. Glad to be here.
And also, guys, don't forget to check out our
RenaissanceVFX.
Just amazing work.
They're doing the Great Spirits work over there.
Yeah.
And I liked your latest short. What was it called? The one with the guy at the trading outpost?
Oh, Pekka. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually saw that you guys left a comment on that one, and that's when that's when I know I've made it. I made it as a YouTuber.
You made it as a YouTuber with a channel with like 5 times fewer subs, comments on. Yeah, it was some cool stuff, and I liked the wind blowing sound, and I liked the animal, the Rahi turning evil. I was like, oh man, this feels so cool and threatening.
I was interested to see how that one would be received, because I feel like there's a lot of there's a lot of weird things in that one that we kind of just throw at the audience. So I was curious to see how people took it, and folks seem to have really liked it, which is great. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah. And the Gamatoran mask designs were so cool. I loved them.
We're going to have a lot more Gamatoran. We're actually going to probably have a good 4 or 5 months of Gakoro coming up here.
Dang. Bro really likes the Gamatoran, if you know what I mean.
We've had a solid year of Pokoro.
That's true. Yeah.
Wow, that's actually crazy. Yeah. I remember watching your first video, and I was like, wow, this is going to be a journey.
Well, I remember watching the first video, the one with the Nui Jaga, and I commented, I'm like, are these based on like the way they moved? It reminded me of the Grievers from Maze Runner. And you're like, I have no clue what those are. I was like, dang it. That's when I knew this would be the start of a beautiful friendship. Okay, well, with that, we're going to say... Good night, Metro Nui. This brings us to the end of today's podcast. If you enjoyed the discussion, please follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
If you like to watch instead of listen, you can also find us on YouTube. The Barraki Talk Show is only made possible thanks to viewers like you. Thank you.